And we are recording. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Cheer Chatter Podcast. I'm Shaquesta.
I'm Aisha.
I'm Kamisha.
And here we're talking all things cheer. So the last episode we did talk about regionals, Region 4 championship, which is like the South Florida area. So today we're actually going to talk about the state championships, 1A, and then we'll have another episode for 2A later. But today we're going to focus all on 1A. So, how was y'all 1A experience?
1A is always the Cheerleading.
Yeah.
Is always in the building. Not saying that 2A is not hype. It's a totally different feel. That 1A, you got those smaller schools, so they're usually in smaller towns where
they shut it down.
their whole fan base is there and ready to cheer on whatever is going on. What was the school?
West Nassau.
West Nassau. We posted them the day of state. Obviously, you guys know that we're like almost 2 months.
Yeah.
Like we said last episode, it was not us. It was our platform that we were using. Stuff wasn't loading the way that it was supposed to, so we had to re-record. But we did post West Nassau the day of, and the people that found us on Facebook, they commented, they shared, and they were able to tell us that small town shuts down for everything West Nassau. So they brought the whole community with them, and you can
the video
tell.
got 2,000 views in one day.
Yeah.
But with 1A, definitely it's not a completely different vibe, but the synergy is definitely different. It's not. I would say the difference that I noticed is it's not only people cheering for their teams. It's more so the entire arena cheering for everybody in that particular arena. So that was a plus. Because I remember one particular dad was saying everybody's cheering. He didn't know a word, but he was saying everybody's cheering.
We thought he was a coach at one time. Like maybe he was a choreographer and dealt with multiple teams. But that wasn't the case. He was a dad.
He was a dad. And
shout out.
That and when I tell you
cheer dads matter.
No, really.
I was completely baffled because I'm like, I keep hearing this same voice. Like, where is this coming
and he
from?
was right
across from us.
Yeah, literally
cheering on, and that's the difference, because in 1A you can definitely feel the love across the board. I'm hoping that 2A eventually comes to that, or even the level of synergy.
Yes.
For everyone across the board. But listen, West Nassau gets the top synergy award for me.
Yeah.
Because that entire section,
they was rocking.
And that video, we got over 6.2 thousand views and 56 shares. So shout out to West Nassau's fan base team program for just, showing mad love to Cheer Chatter. And awesome job.
But you could tell that girls felt it too.
Yeah,
definitely.
Most definitely.
So,
but we could get to that when we get to them.
Absolutely.
Did we want to talk about the setup of state on this episode, or once we wrap up with 2A?
I think we should do that.
Once we wrap up with 2A,
they're definitely gonna need a whole other conversation.
So we'll do a whole episode on
that'll work.
Yes, I'm okay with that.
So the first category that came up for 1A that based off of the scoring is going to be small varsity division. So in the semifinals, we're going to just talk strictly finals, since that's pretty much the purpose. So finals, we had 10 teams for the small varsity division. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one.
Are you talking about that went to finals?
Yes, it was only 5 teams. I'm sorry. I was looking at 2A by mistake.
Okay.
So it was only 5 teams that made it to the small varsity division finals, and that was We have Seabreeze, Wesley Chapel, Baker County, the Masters Academy, and Calvary Christian. So,
All right. As you all know, I make my notes while it's going on or directly after. So these are my initial feelings on the routine. I put my notes in a way that I can remember. So it's no dig at anyone, is no disrespect. This is just how I remember the routine. I have Sea Breeze, feel the breeze. That was their cheer. If I get something that catches my eye with the cheer, I always write that down. Feel the breeze was great. Considering that their school name is Sea Breeze. Oh, their final pyramid. I put final pyramid was that deal. Their final pyramid was amazing. It's how they ended their routine. A lot of people kind of stay away from that because you've gone through already over 2 minutes of cheer, dance, stunting, and a lot of people don't have the energy to do a great final pyramid. They either keep it safe or they don't go pyramid last period. But theirs was great. So shout out to Sea Breeze for being able to pull off, with their pyramid.
Okay.
Then we had Calvary out of Clearwater. Please make that very clear that it's Calvary out of Clearwater. There is a Calvary in Fort Lauderdale, and they are two totally different teams. They look very similar, but their level of competitiveness are
totally different.
Two different levels.
One is the park, one is top tier.
Wait,
And
did you just say what is the part?
yeah, that's exactly what I said. Calvary Clearwater is top tier. They were amazing. All I have is on point because they were just that good. They kind of had the stadium with them as well.
Yeah.
I do remember, well, the arena is not football. I'm sorry, I do go back and forth between football because I'm a football mom. But yes, the arena was really with them as well because their routine was high energy as well. Then we had Masters Academy. They had a stunt that they saved and was able to early dismount. We have mentioned this in other episodes where the way things are scored now are totally different than they were scored years past. When you are able to save a stunt from actually falling, sometimes you just come out of it where it's counted as an early dismount instead of a drop or a fall. And they did that, which kind of helped them in points. I was very intrigued by the flipping of their signs, and they were clean, routine. Baker County, I have to mention this. I probably would have felt much better about Baker County, but they came directly after West Nassau. It's hard to go from, please, if you get the opportunity, please go on Cheer Chatter on Facebook, on Instagram, and watch the arena when West Nassau performed. And before West Nassau performed, you will understand exactly what I'm saying. Baker County went directly after them. So you had a very high energy, and not saying that it went low at Baker County. It's just the arena was still on West Nassau, and they really couldn't move on just yet. So shout out to Baker County. That is a hard act to follow. I'm sure you were much better than I perceived, but I was still with West Nassau. And that was the notes that I put. And then we have Wesley Chapel. I had them as okay. So who ended up winning
So
small varsity?
So go ahead.
Calvary Christian came in first. Baker County came in second. Masters Academy was third. Seabreeze was fourth, and Wesley Chapel was fifth.
Line them directly with the notes.
Yeah.
So
I noticed that a lot of the notes in the comments in which we made while we were there kind of lined up with where a lot of the teams fell, so to speak. And so a lot of the categories where we said it could go either way, it really did go either way.
Really did.
So the next category we have is medium finals, medium varsity. And we have, Alicia, who was our final team?
So the final teams in medium varsity were Tampa Catholic, Providence from Jacksonville. I always remember them because they got to pee like Purdue. Yulee and Bishop Moore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always remember Bishop Moore. This was Bishop Moore first year though, wasn't it?
No, they've been there before.
They've been there.
But
They
has it
just
been a
really
while?
stood. No, they really stood out. They're always 1A. So we saw them last year for the first time.
That's
Got
probably
it.
what happened.
We never went to
1A.
last year was our first year going to 1A.
Mm-hmm.
And going last year
But I feel
for
like
all
we've seen
the
them before.
it's a lot of bishops. It's a lot of schools
That's
with
what it is.
bishop in front of it. But when we went to state last year with 1A, it's like we cannot not go back ever again.
Yeah,
It's really a great
I think this year kind of
competition.
sealed the deal of us ever not going.
right. Since you mentioned Bishop Moore, they capture your attention because everything. Well, I can't
You love
remember
that cheer.
like last year. No,
And
I
their
like their
music.
entire routine. Their Bishop Moore, but everything was more. They
Yes,
the
used
theme.
Britney Spears, Give Me More. Their cheer. It was. Oh yeah, it was Give Us More. It was. I said we want.
We want more. That was in the
Oh yeah,
cheer.
Give Us More. We Want More was the cheer, but it got
The cheer
kind
was
of
dull.
dull. Yes,
It was it was too much of more.
I don't think it was because
No,
it was
it
too
was
much
the-
more. I think their energy.
Their energy and the way they
dull.
were saying it wasn't as exciting or as captive. It,
Right.
it wasn't selling. Love the idea, but the cheer wasn't selling the way it should.
Right.
So therefore, I think that's where the problem came in at, because the music was amazing with
Yeah.
all the thing behind it. It's just the cheer wasn't
They
selling
didn't
as
sell
much.
it the way
They
that.
needed to be sold.
Right.
And they score reflected it too.
See, there you go. Then
Yes.
I'm gonna go back to the top. She mentioned Bishop Moore, so I just kind of started with them. We had Tampa Catholic. Signs look like periodic table, which no, it was cool though.
Mhm.
I like the way that they did that. They were white
Mhm.
with the outline box, and they had
the letters
the letters
inside.
in there. I
Mhm.
don't remember exactly what was on the signs, but I do remember them looking like a periodic table,
I
which
think it
was
was TCH.
that was
Was that them or was that somebody?
That was
else?
another-
team.
that was another team from down in our area, because remember on the last episode I said they forgot to see. Yeah.
No, you
But but yeah, I do remember their signs. I always put out what stands out to me. Providence, like Kamisha said, they look like Purdue. I'm laughing at my nose because I have Presbyterian
Jesus.
in their cheer. They sound like that's what they were saying. I don't remember their mascot right now, but I'm a goofball.
Sitting next
So
to her
I'm
is the
gonna
worst.
find something that makes me laugh. And I know they were not saying pescatarian.
No, but the fact that she asked me that during the cheer, I had, I always have a look when each say something out of pocket. I look at her.
I think that's everybody.
Okay,
Yeah,
It's
that's
a pause, and it's like,
what? And she was like, "Did they just say pescatarian?" I said, "Where did that come from?"
I mean, it was supposed to be, loud for Lords, and I'm like, loud for Lord.
you just start connecting stuff, especially if you're there all day. You just
Yeah.
start connecting stuff.
Yeah.
You
But
sometimes
it's the connections that y'all be making.
okay, all right. But you have to. Sometimes things get so dry.
They do.
Which
You
we're
gotta
going to
put
talk
time
about.
in it.
Right, we're going to talk
Yeah,
about
we
in
do.
the episode that we go to. but sometimes it get real dull for a while, and you gotta keep yourself up because you
Yeah.
do want to watch the good routine, and that was me.
You
All right.
you two are the perfect individuals for that part.
Yeah, it usually works. But I have also for them, even though I heard pescatarian, I have they hit everything. The Flyers save major some major stunts.
Yes,
So
they did.
shout out to those Flyers. They were able to compose themselves
Mhm.
in a moment like that. I don't know how many of you that view us actually cheered or have cheered competitively, and being on the sideline cheering in
Mhm.
front of a crowd of people is scary if you're not used to it. So being in an arena where you're scored and you have to do that, it's very hard. So shout out to those Flyers for keeping themselves composed where they were able to save the stunts for their team.
So shout out. Oh, yeah, more notes.
Yeah, my last one for that category is Julie.
Okay.
Ain't that the yellow and green team?
Was Julie yellow and green? I believe so.
They had the Y.
The big Y.
Yep,
Yep,
that
yep,
was them.
yep.
But and black. It was a black uniform with the green and the yellow.
Mhm.
Okay, now I'm
Mhm.
remembering. Go ahead.
I was more excited about their uniform than their routine, but they were good. Yes, yes.
So
That's what it
shout
was.
out to Providence for
Mhm.
winning this division with an 82.5.
Absolutely. Second place was Bishop Moore, which was very interesting uh that was a category where we felt like it could go either way.
I don't think so.
No, because of the way Providence saved their stunts, it was kind of unpredictable to
Oh,
see
you
where they
already
were
know.
leaning towards.
Yeah, whatchamacallit, Bishop Moore had a 79 and Providence had an 82.5. Although there's a difference, you can see it that it could have,
Correct.
Yeah.
The way that they saved it, so to
Yeah.
speak.
That goes into
Third.
what you consider their scoring.
Third was Yulee and fourth was Tampa Catholic.
All right. Our next division, we have large varsity. We didn't get a chance to see them at semis because all the teams went straight to finals. So
Actually, we saw one team.
Okay.
Only one team moved up from large varsity, and that was a surprise. It was St. Brendan was the team that moved up from semifinals.
Well, I mean,
No, they
to
didn't
me,
have us in our finals.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
They did for varsity?
Yeah,
Mhm.
St. Brendan was the only one that moved up.
I'm
Mhm.
looking at it here. It just says
Look.
finals.
St. Brendan was the only one that moved up.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. They had Oh Lord. The reason why was because we didn't stay for we did. We saw them. That was Niceville, River Ridge, Beachside, St. Brendan. They were in that large
That
varsity.
was the finals. Look at it.
Oh no, wait. Sorry.
There was no semis.
We
Well,
forgot
forgot
St.
St.
Brendan.
Brendan. I forgot him on the
Okay, that's what it was.
But yeah,
Okay,
that's
got
what
it.
happened.
Look at the
Okay.
regionals real quick.
Yeah, but they were straight to finals. So
Okay.
St. Brendan is in Region 4, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
They were doing so. Yeah.
Nice
Oh, they were the
team.
only one in there. Yeah, you're
I
right.
forgot them on. Remember when I
Okay.
did the
Gotcha.
thing? I forgot to type them
Niceville
in.
always remind me of Nellyville, but that's a whole nother story.
And she talking about us. See,
I always think about it because they the burgundy team, and then each hate that burgundy.
But well, yeah, this division went straight to finals, and the teams were Beachside from St. John, St. Brendan from Miami, River Ridge from Newport Richey, and Niceville. Now, this is the one we said could
go either way because everybody wasn't up.
It was very clear on the 4 teams who were your top 2 and who were going to be your bottom 2. It was very clear on the
That
placement.
part.
Now we was having a small conversation about Niceville and St. Brendan. We kept saying we didn't know who would be first and who would be second. So, Isha.
all right, I'm glad it's in this order so I can talk about my pet peeve. Anyway, River Ridge, the school need a nickname. Because that becomes a tongue twister, River Ridge, when you're cheering. So yeah, they need either let's go Rivers or Ridge. I don't know, but River Ridge, that's a lot. I put that they had nothing together, and I just kind of peeked over at the scores and I can see
Right.
how
Why? Mm-hmm.
it was all over the place. Beach side, they had an upside down sign. They ended up fixing that. They were good, had a few drops. So that makes a lot of sense with their score as well. St. Brennan, they are a hometown team. They are a South Florida team. Same thing I said last week on last week's episode. They're always really good. They have the choreography. It's all there, but this year they didn't execute the way that I know them to execute. But they were better than regionals. But it still wasn't all together. And I won't even say it wasn't all together. It was together, obviously, because of their score, but it wasn't them. It wasn't
What we're used to.
right. It wasn't the level that we used to seeing them on.
Weren't they co-ed at one point?
No, they've
They
never
were
been
never
co-ed.
been co-ed. It's another team I'm thinking about.
Yeah, but that's not them. I said they into it.
Yeah, St. Brendan's never been co-ed.
Just love their uniforms though.
Yeah, uniforms are always very cute. One of my favorites. Then Niceville,
It's
their
the
colors are
color.
maroon, and we know that I hate maroon as a color in a cheer because it goes with nothing. Move for the maroon. I don't know. I can't fathom.
Move for maroon.
It
Really?
still don't go.
So you just gonna really just throw that out there?
I
like
said it first, but I'm just saying
But-
it's just maroon and white. You can't help but sound like you're on the part. Maroon, burgundy, purple. It is. I hate it.
Purple.
Maybe we got too many syllables.
It's no, because it's not that many. And maroon is maroon. It's just it don't go. I hate it. Anyway, I said that they were good,
Mhm.
but I put that their voices are too nice, which means
They Niceville.
okay, you got a point. But still, they're also they're on the mat. They gotta sell it. You can't be maroon and white. Like no. Who are you
Put
telling?
some bass in your voice.
Yeah,
A little
bring
bass.
bring it from your toes. Let the people know
Your
that you
toes?
maroon. Yeah.
Shout out to Niceville
Oh,
for
Jesus.
winning first place with an 88.2 and St. Brennan for their second place showing at 84.
I can't.
So our next category is our extra large varsity. This is another category that went straight to finals,
I
and we
don't
had
think there
three.
That many teams that competed in that department.
So
How
they
you
had
find on the high school level 26 plus girls
That
that's
can play
tumbling? Well, I mean, it's possible, but like in the state of Florida.
Literally, I've realized the larger your team is, the more of a percentage. Either all your girls got the tumble, or either a high percentage.
You can only
of your
have like
girls.
two. That's not
maybe
tumbling.
2. That's not tumbling.
They gonna hold the sign. I mean the flag.
I'm sorry. I'll tell y'all what that little giggle was later.
I already know what that giggle was.
So in the varsity girls, in the varsity extra large varsity division, we have Bishop Monroe, Bayside, as well as Punta Vedra.
Punta Vedra.
Okay. So
Okay, I got Bishop Verot, better than regionals, pretty good. Last episode, I talked about them being a school that they're a private school. They kind of build programs as far as their sports. Right now they have a really good track team. They have a pretty good football team. They're always in that sports conversation in the state of Florida. So I can see their cheerleaders getting better. And they did improve from regional to state. So shout out to them for that. Bayside, their cheer said bears, bears, bears. And I have the emoji that kind of looks like it's in pain, like.
I can't.
So I'm sure the scores are going to reflect my comment. And then you have Ponte Vedra. But I have rush stunting. We talked about this before. slow it down. Don't be in a rush to get to the next thing. Having more stunts is not going to give you more points. Execute what you have. Make sure it's being able to be seen so that everybody can enjoy it, and then do something else. Just slow down, because when you do it, it looks like a show and go. And a show and go doesn't get as many points as a stunt going up and sticking. But it was only those three teams,
So
right?
I kind of wanna touch base a little bit on the rush stunting, only because I'm wondering nowadays because of the score sheet, and we could talk about this later, but I'm wondering if because the score sheet says execution of the stunt, no matter like there is no specific timing, if they can't hold the stunt and they just get it up just to
It
show
makes a
that they
lot of
can do it
sense.
and then bring it down immediately because it can't be held.
But everything's on count. You know what I'm saying?
True enough.
Is it a full 8 count? Is it
But
4 counts?
because some teams still use that 1 and 2 and
yeah, that's true. Well, no, not in camp. In camp is 1, 2.
correct, but that don't mean that when they get back home they don't change it. Because if you really look at the timing of it, there really isn't much of a time frame in it. But at least they got the points for executing and bringing it back down.
That's a good way of thinking about it.
So let's talk about it.
Table
Yeah.
that, yeah.
And let's
Bring it
talk
back.
about that episode. So shout out to Ponte Vedra for their 76.7 first place showing, and Bishop Verreau.
But you said 76.
76.7.
They won with the 76.
They won.
Well,
with
we
a
kind of called that
76.7.
category for what it was. That was
I
one
mean,
of the
yeah.
categories we
I mean,
called.
you kind of.
You would think
There
that
was no-
it'd be
A
in
first
the
place should
70s,
not
it'd
be in the 70s.
Yeah, that's true.
But they don't have that. They didn't have that many teams competing in that category anyway.
True. There were only 3 extra large varsity. I mean,
Correct.
we are in
And I would
1A.
think if
That means we're talking about schools that don't have that many kids.
Correct.
So if they got 26 plus cheerleaders.
that's all the
That's
girls
probably
that
all the
can
girls
chill.
right at the school. They took everybody. They tried out, but no,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about that
Yeah.
episode too. There should be nobody winning with the 76.
And Bishop Verreau was second place with a 72.65.
Nobody got in there.
Nobody.
So our next division we have the small non-tumbling, and in this division we have 8
Everybody.
teams. So we have Key West, Wiki Wachi,
I'm
Jay,
sorry.
University Christian, West Nassau, Bishop Snyder, and Newberry and Avon Park.
Okay, so started out with Key West. Key West is a home team. But they were amazing until it seemed like their cheer ran into their music and they started rushing.
Aren't they the Conks?
Yes, they are the conches.
Okay.
And I hate when people say conches. Like they're not conches. It's a conch. Okay.
The actual
It's an animal. It's a sea creature.
Yeah.
And it tastes very good. You can fry it, you can stew it.
Really?
Yeah. You can put it in
a shell.
no, well, it comes out of a shell. It's almost like a sea snail. But you can make a fritter, you can fry
Can
it.
we focus?
I'm just telling the people what the
Can
conch
we focus?
is because people keep calling it a conch.
Focus.
Okay, all right. But I like conch. Anyway, no, a lot of teams do this, and I get it because they want to make sure their timing is perfect. But I think for me, I personally wouldn't do it because it can throw off the rest of the routine. So what they do is they put their first music, and then they leave the space that they want for their cheer, and it's all on one recording.
Yeah.
So the music just starts.
Before the girls even finish the cheer.
Sometimes if the girls are slowing down the cheer, which most teams don't do, most teams rush cheers. But if they slow it down, now they're still cheering and the music is playing, and that's what happened to Key West. It didn't happen to them at regionals, but it did happen to them at state, which can be a major problem because if the next thing that they have to do is a stunt, you're not there. So now you're rushing to put up a stunt, you're rushing to go into the stunt. I personally don't recommend it, but I do understand it. So, but shout out to Key West. They are a hometown team. I'm gonna say it's NASA for last. We had Wiki Wachi. She likes saying their name. They were okay. That's
Absolutely.
pretty much what I got from them. Bishop Snyder.
All these
I'm gonna
bishops.
say Bishop Snyder. Avon Park, sign transition, the best I've ever
was
seen.
the category we could say that could go
Either way. Yes, absolutely.
Correct.
I love the Avon Park's sign transition. They do a lot of
There
there's
was something on the park.
it
was in their cheer.
It wasn't them. That was Winter Park.
Okay, somebody had on the park.
Yeah, that's Winter Park because I remember them saying that cheer every year, and I'm not opposed to it because I really like their cheer. But Avon Park, they had, I think the girls start off with 2 signs and then they put it up to their flyers. It's a lot of sign movement, but they're still spelling, and I really enjoyed it. Wrong thing. Shout out to Avon Park. Who for that sign transition? Oh,
That's terrible.
Newberry, I put okay. I don't have an emoji. I don't have nothing there, so that's all I got about Newberry. Jay, roll with the Royals. If you know me, I love Royals. You'll find it out next episode, and probably heard it last episode. But I like Royals. But they did roll with the Royals, and I thought that was really cute. Nice usage of words connecting to motions. Repeated a few of the same stunts. So again, I get it. If you didn't capitalize on this stunt and it is a difficult stunt, I don't blame you. Do it and do it and do it. But also as a judge, if I saw it twice, I see it a third time, and then see it a fourth time, it's like, okay, just water down another stunt. But again, I get it. You capitalize on that stunt. And then you have University Christian, when you see us. So University Christian is UC. So they put when you see us. I thought that was really cute. If you didn't get it, so what?
Now that's tough.
They should be able to get that. It's UC.
Terrible.
I tried to explain as much as I could, but it was cute. I like that. I like it. And I put that they had 2 dance routines, which is a no-no.
Wait, what?
They had 2 dance routines, so they had 2 separate parts of dancing, which you don't do.
Yeah.
Most dance routines should not be over 4 8 counts. A lot of schools don't do more than 2 8 counts of dancing because they want to push on the parts that they get the most out of. Dancing and basket tosses are almost pointless. Matter of fact, basket tosses are pointless.
Unless
dancing,
co-ed.
Right? Co-ed. That's
everything. I'm sorry, I had a moment.
Yeah, when they go over that little FHSAA side, it's everything. Anyway, but dancing, you do get points for that, but it's not much. So just FYI, don't focus on dancing too much, especially if your girls can't dance. You do a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and move on. Now, first and second place. What was the score difference?
So the score difference for first and second place for the small non-team division,
without telling them who won,
was 1.3.
That is almost impossible.
Well, okay, so it is almost impossible, but remember we did see a team that was a 0.1 of a point of a difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
But getting under 2 points, I will say is that close.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I'll tell you the scores without telling the teams.
That's a hard judgment.
One of the scores was a 93.4 and the other one was a 94.1. So literally it was a difference of maybe like a stunt. They had to find something wrong to give the differentiation between the 2 teams.
And the crazy part is when you're judging, you score that team at that moment. It
Mhm.
moves to a totally different category.
Mhm.
So now there's another set of judges judging, and you're kind of tabulating your scores to move on to the next team
Mhm.
in that category. So you have no idea
None.
what you're going to see next. You don't have the opportunity to go back and fix anything. So for you to come back and give a score that is almost identical
Mhm.
to the one
That
before
means you
that,
basically saw the same team.
basically.
Mhm.
So
Notes.
the notes.
Oh, Lord.
One team, I'm not going to tell you which one they were. I'm going to go back and tell you what they were. For the second place team, I have they drug their butts. When I say they drug their butts, they were on the ground, not in a dancing matter, but it was a part of their stunt, and I thought it was really cool. Repping for the team, if I give you the mascot, you're probably gonna know who they are. That was a part of their cheer, and I thought that was really cool as well. When people play on words, I really, really enjoy that. People try to be really politically correct when they do cheer, but when they throw in a little slang and a little street, it makes
Mhm.
it interesting.
And if you listen to some of the cheer, like some of the words that the person is saying in the cheer, it's a lot of shade.
Yes.
There's a lot of pettiness going on there.
Very much so.
For those of you who are, are learning or beginning learners about
Getting cheer educated.
cheercated.
What? All these
If you are getting
words.
cheercated, listen to some of the cheer music. There's a
Yes.
lot of shade
Very much
that
so.
gets thrown in there. That you
Not
will-
in the cheer, in
in
the
the
music. So you
Yeah.
can't get caught up in what they're doing.
Nope.
I mean, you do get captivated, but you gotta listen to what they're
some of the
saying.
stuff that they be saying in that music, you be like,
Who they finna fight?
"Ooh, they just threw some old nasty shade."
Yes.
So just
and I love it.
yes,
Yes,
we
you do.
be
You
present
live
and
for it.
accounted for on the cheer shade of the music. But go ahead.
Cheer shade.
I can't.
So now the other team, their fans were educated on everything cheer. Everything cheer. This group was flawless. They were like, I have them as the stunt queens. And I have their cheer, which I don't want to say because I don't want to give it away. So the team that came second was Bishop Snyder. They said repping for the Redbirds. And it's like, oh, okay, I see it, repping for the Redbirds. The team that won was West NASA, and their cheer was, hey, here we go, red and gold. Like that's what you can hear roaring in the stands.
Literally, and that was the deciding factor.
Roaring.
That was the deciding factor.
Their fans won that competition for them. I cannot give that to their. Okay, let me rephrase that. I don't want to say I can't give it to their girls because obviously they were
amazing.
they were hitting those stunts.
Yeah.
They had their energy, but the deciding factor between them and Bishop Snyder, because Bishop Snyder was just as amazing. Bishop Snyder did not have the fan base that West NASA had. And when I say there was a part in the cheer where it sounded like the cheerleaders were no longer cheering, but their fans were. I mean, word for word, the fans knew every single word of that cheer.
I'm going to repost the video on Instagram as well as on Facebook so that you all can go back and reference this. When I tell you, they gave the definition of cheerleading. The true definition of cheerleading was West Nassau, straight up.
Yes. Shout out to Bishop Snyder's coach. Got a phone call from her the very next morning. When I say the very next morning, I'm talking about early in the morning. I hadn't even woke up yet. But that's the love of the sport that a lot of these coaches have. They want to know. They want to know what the fans think. They want to know what people with a cheer eye thinks. And obviously, she didn't call me personally. She went through another coach that we know personally and called me, and I told her what it was. Even on that high level, wanting to know what the difference was shows you that these coaches are still open and willing to learn. And I love that she didn't just say, oh, they cheated. She didn't call it what it wasn't. She wanted to know. She was open for feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave her that, and she was very receptive. So shout out to Bishop Snyder's coach for that. No, it's a lot of people that can't humble themselves enough to say,
but that says a
what
lot
was
about
it?
A coach, and
Yes,
that goes,
absolutely.
that says a lot about where you're trying to take your team to
Absolutely.
move forward. Because for her to ask the deciding factor, that means you were very receptive and willing to understand, like, where did we slightly fall short?
Because that was definitely what it was.
And it was
Slight.
very
It was
slight.
very slight. So it wasn't like it was overwhelming. Like this category, you have those two teams in the 90s, and then the third place team was scoring in the 70s. That's how
That's
a huge difference it was. So the third place team was at a 74.7, which is the low
not even
70s.
a high 70.
Not a high 70. So that's over almost a 20-point difference there. So definitely Bishop Snyder, kudos to you.
Yes.
Second place. That was a tough category. That right there, because of that crowd participation.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd participation is everything. I think that's
if you can take all your fans,
please get a charter
shut
bus.
it down. Something.
Shut the town down. Everybody jump on the charter bus or carpool together and get down to that arena and cheer for those girls.
I did realize that is like the difference between 1A and 2A
Mhm.
because rain, hail, sleet, or snow, them people gonna cancel whatever it is they got going on to be there for those girls.
I mean, like shut down school.
And I mean, even with last year, us going for the first time, it was during the week,
Yes.
which was even more of a step up, more appealing to me because you mean to tell me that these people took
On a Tuesday
work to show up for these
the
girls?
most retarded
going
day of
up.
the week.
And I
On
mean, to
Tuesday.
me, that that speaks volumes because that lets you know that they're behind their schools 100%.
They're very supportive.
Yeah, and that's amazing.
Yes.
So our next category, we have medium non-tumbling. We have 7 teams. We have Florida High, Vanguard, Suncoast, Bishop Kenny, Lake Wells, Bozeman, and Arbondale.
Okay, so before we start, this was the first time in our history of going to state that there has ever been a tie.
Really?
This was the one category that had a tie for 4th place. This is the first time ever that we've been and we've heard of a tie.
Yes.
Because we all looked like, wait,
Tie.
what? That's possible?
But going back to what we said, when the judges are judging, it's not like they go back and make comments after they've seen another team. They put what they put at that
to the next
moment
person to calculate.
Right.
That's it.
So they saw the exact same numbers, which is extremely hard to do when you're giving a subjective
I wonder if
score.
they had the same amount of
Deductions.
deductions too.
It possibly.
There's a possibility.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 4th place, so it's not that important.
But I would have at least thought that it would have been a point of a difference to make 4th or 5th, but the fact that they had the exact same score, that was interesting.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
And it ain't a whole score, it's a 0.2 at the end.
Yeah.
Oh well. All right, Bishop Kenny, I have okay. I really don't remember anything about them. Bozeman, I don't like this cheer at all. They dropped a lot. Like, I don't remember what their cheer was, but apparently it was not good. Arbondale.
And their score reflected it.
Arbondale. Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna do it. I gotta do
You were
it.
supposed to work on that.
You was.
I know. Listen, the sun drained me. I went to Florida Relays this weekend. I tell y'all all the time, I'm a track coach. Went to Florida Relays. I was supposed to work on this while I was there because I thought we were going to leave the track meet early because we didn't have all events and I would be able to go to the hotel and do this. But I did not because we were at the track the entire time and the sun drained me and I went to sleep. And I watched the basketball games too. Anyway, Armandale coach was, I'm not gonna say my highlight of the competition, but definitely probably like third place highlight. He was live, he was in it, he was on point. To me, he was better than his team, but his team wasn't bad. But his team was. They were really good. But to me, he was better than his team. So that just tell you what it is. Shout out to Armandale's coach. I need a personal follow. Because I need to watch you all the time because you was okay. Suncoast, I have okay. If you watch last episode, it's always real cut and dry with them. It's not anything that stands out. They're still doing, hey, what are you saying? Their cheer. I want them to drop that. Please, Suncoast, please change your cheer. I guarantee if you change that cheer, you are going to score better in your cheer category. Please take that advice. I promise you it's gonna change. Vanguard. Oh, this is the team with the boy that had the blonde hair.
You went crazy.
And he was really thin, and I loved him in prelims, but he didn't come back in finals with that same energy. I was looking for it. I was hoping for it. I thought that was going to be their deciding factor to move up as far as scoring. And I don't know what happened between prelims and finals, because prelims and finals is the same day, but he just wasn't there for finals. And I hated that for them because he really captivated me. He had my attention. Not saying that the routine wasn't good, but he really had my attention. I also have the whole team. It's supposed to say left their life.
Left their energy.
Yeah, left their energy in prelims. I'll be just typing, so excuse me. I have to remember what I say, but yeah, they left their energy in prelims. So something must have happened in between where they just were down. And I think if they would have came with the same energy, they definitely, not saying that they would have won, but they would have been better. You wanted to introduce something? I thought you said real quick. Florida High, I put very good. Big long. They had a very tall flyer,
and she was
flying. That is pretty because
she was flying.
It means that you get to see the execution of things in a bolder way.
Yeah, she was long.
Yes,
I remember her now. She was long.
Yes,
like damn near my height. Long,
almost
like she might not have been that tall, but I don't know, her legs stretch Armstrong long. Yes. She was good though. She was amazing. She was a good flyer.
Very much so.
Yeah, she was flying her little butt off. So kudos to that Florida High flyer. She definitely stood out. And then I had Lake Wells is just good. So I'm sure that they did some things that were very good, but it wasn't, anything over the top that made me say more about them. So what were the placements?
So for second place, we have Lake Wales with a 79 and Arbandale with first place with an 83.50. And the two teams that was mentioned that had got the fourth place, well, listen to Bishop Kenny, but Bishop Kenny got third place, and then Suncoast and Florida High were the two teams that tied for fourth place.
I still don't understand
it. It be that way sometimes.
Because they were like I would have put Florida High first.
So we have our large non-tumbling division. We have three teams. We have Baldwin, Foundation Academy, and Keysgate.
So for Baldwin, I have Baldwin Let's Win. They spelled out Baldwin, obviously, but when they said Let's Win, they flipped down to BALD. So Win was still up. That was very cute play with your signs. So there was a girl at some point in the cheer, she had a paw. I don't remember what their mascot was, but obviously it's some kind of cat. And she had a paw. And she was throwing a whole tantrum during the cheer.
I missed that part.
Oh no, I didn't. I caught that.
You
What
catch
happened?
the
Like apparently something wasn't going
her way.
right with because she was a flyer.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't going right while she was cheering. And when she would come down or whatever, she was like having a whole fit. Flyers, with cheerleaders, period. If something goes wrong in your routine, you move on.
Don't show it in your face.
You move on because at the end of the day, you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds of a routine. If in your first 10 seconds or in your minute and 20-second mark, something happens, you still have the rest of the routine to continue. You cannot get fixated on that one part. She did. She was livid, okay? Enough for me to notice that. Maybe other people didn't notice it because she was kind of in the back with the sign, but baby girl was mad. She threw a tantrum in a routine. Please, people, watch that. On Foundation Academy, they stuck everything. I love it. They are
Foundation.
very good. They're always, well, we've only seen them twice, but they're usually a really good team, and they were great. Kingsgate was a team from our end. They were pretty good, but they were much better in finals. So I'm sure we all can figure out how that placement.
So we thought the 1.2 was close. This was decided by a point.
Told you.
Excuse me, a point, 1 point.
Mm-hmm.
So Baldwin came in at second place with an 86.6,
Mm-hmm.
and Foundation Academy
I
came
knew
in
one
at
of
an
those categories had
86.7.
I knew one of those.
So
categories had it.
that's out. That would be interesting to
see the breakdown.
see the breakdown and to figure out like what was that 0.1 difference in the routine. So our next division we have is our
call the tantrum.
That might have been it. Deciding factor.
So we have the extra large non-tumbling, and in this division we have 5 teams. We have First Academy out of Orlando, Mendez from St. Augustine, Miami Carroll City, Immaculata LaSalle from Miami, and Oak Hall from Gainesville.
All right, so I'm gonna say first and second place for last because they were 2 home teams, and it's a little more that needs to go into that. So First Academy, the fans were out. In other words, they were there. They were cheering them on. They were there with them. They sat by us as well. Not right next to us, but in that section over, and they had it packed. Which again is always needed for those girls. Every parent brought. I put every parent brought a neighbor. They had a thing back. I heard it, okay. But they weren't as good as their fans. So yes, you bring it. I don't care how bad you are. If you scored a 34, you still need to bring your fans out. However, you got to match your fans' energy. Make sure you matching your fans' energy. Menendez. Why did I say it like that? Menendez. All right. I don't know why I put this, but I put vote for Pedro. Did they have a boy?
I don't remember.
I think they had a boy, and I put vote for Pedro because he looked terrible. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna skip over there because I don't remember why I put it, but I put it. Get on your feet and repeat. Oh, that was their connector between their cheer. Get on your feet and repeat. A lot of people like to say fans on this side or put it all together.
Yeah.
Like the words are the same all the time. I like that they changed their transition into talking to their fans to get on your feet and repeat. So good job, Menendez. In their last stunt sequence, I put that it was off. I Obviously, the season is over, so they can't fix it. But that's something that they needed to work on prior to. And then I have Oak Hall. This is another pet peeve. In the beginning of your cheer.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. I hate it. Like, why do you need to say "here we go"? And then say it again to start your cheer.
Here we go.
Here we go.
No, just go.
Yeah, just start the cheer. Like,
You talking about no?
so I got my notes up. They can see it. I literally put "here we go" and then I put no with the asterisks on both sides, not quotation, but asterisks, so I would know that that is a definite no. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't see the purpose of it. I don't think it hypes up the cheerleaders. I don't think it hypes up the fans. The judges already know you're getting ready to do your cheer once the music stops. So I don't see the purpose of it. It's a space filler. Find something else to say. Anyway, that was Oak Hall. So now, first and second place. These two teams scored first and second place in regionals. They are two home teams. They're two home
It
teams.
was the opposite.
But their placement were flipped. And this is where we keep saying your energy has to be there. It gotta be there. It cannot go away at any given moment. Carroll City and LaSalle. Carroll City won at regionals. LaSalle got second, and it was vice versa when we came to state. LaSalle won. Do I think either was better than the other? Yes. I think if you take LaSalle's routine from state and align it with Carroll City's routine from regionals, Carroll City hands down win. LaSalle was not as clean as they normally are. They were kind of in here and there, and I'm looking at the score, and yes, they were, because the score kind of reflects that. And
look at third place though.
Yeah, third place.
That's how close it was.
Yeah, but still, these scores should not be the score of a final. First and second place. So when Shaquesta tells you the scores, you'll understand what I mean by it just wasn't that good. But Carroll City's energy in regional was amazing. They hit everything. They were there. You could tell they really wanted it. But at state, it's almost like they came in knowing that they won. Like, oh, we beat them before, we're going to beat them again. No.
Different
I
days,
think that was quite a few teams' mentality.
I agree. And again, like Shaquesta said, it's a different day, different set of judges. You got to give it 100% every single time. I love where Carroll City has come from as far as a team. I love where they are going as a team. But next year, when you bring it at regionals, you better bring it again at state, because if you brought it the way that you brought it at regionals, you would be FHSAA, extra large non-tumbling 1A champions. I'm telling you, and that is no dig at LaSalle, because as we all know, they have my favorite cheer, Crowns Up with the Royals. Okay, I told y'all I like the Royals. That is why, Crowns Up with the Royals. Okay, they have the crown emoji and everything. Again, you got to watch Instagram, our page, to see how I cheer with them and everything. Outside, love it. Shout out to LaSalle for keeping that amazing cheer. If y'all ever change it, I promise y'all I might go to y'all practice, and I gotta fight the coaches. I have to. I gotta fight. Like I want my one-on-one with the coach and change it. Like we have to fight.
If you
part of this stuff. I just watched that video from how long ago was that? I watched it.
And that's why I want to fight, because they already changed. They cheer on us.
Yes.
And
that's when regional was at Dilla.
Yeah.
We remember was sitting all the way to the back.
Yes.
On the door.
And
we was like,
oh, that's so cute.
we was so crunk about that.
And then when we saw them at state, we was doing it with them.
Hey, go Vista.
But so you already got one of our teams that they changed their cheer. So we get number 2
to change.
We gotta fight. I'm sorry.
We like
Love
change,
y'all,
but not that type of change.
But yeah,
I
we want people to change for the better. But I feel like if y'all change that, it won't be for the better. Like
so
I don't know if it. I don't really care if it's for the better of y'all, but it would not be for the better of me. It will mess with my mental health, and I will have to go to therapy for it. So do not change crowns up with royal.
Yes, I quit.
I will need to sit in a chair, lay on a couch. Somebody will need to talk to me and understand why this has put me in a deep depression if they change that cheer.
But I do want to say, in comparison to the difference in the routines, because I did see Carol City's energy versus the day of regionals versus the day of state. I do want to say I love, like you said, the fact of where they come from. But my advice to teams is never underestimate your opponent.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, you have some coaches that really pay attention to the score sheet. They really nitpick at the score sheet to make sure that they bring or take out or remove whatever it is that is mentioned on that sheet.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to rework it to make it work in their favor to make sure that they become state champs.
Yep.
That's all they focus on.
And LaSalle has been state champs before. So you best believe they know what to do to be state champs.
And
again.
so their energy was definitely different because their energy was a lot higher at state than it was at regionals.
I agree.
So therefore, once they saw what the difference was, they basically put it together.
I don't think they fix everything, but like I put in my notes, this is my favorite 118. So we don't talk about them like we don't talk about Bruno. So, Shaquille, you go ahead and give those scores.
I was not ready for that.
So we got Carol. Actually, I'm gonna do the top 3 because this was another close one. So it was a deciding factor between the 3rd place and 2nd place team because if a shift in something could have put Carol City at 3rd place and First Academy at 2nd. But we have First Academy at 72.6, Miami Carol City at 73.3, and then our extra large 1A non-tumbling champs were Immaculata LaSalle at 76.8. And we all agree that no state champ should be scoring in the 70s.
I just want to say,
and that's all we gonna say about that. No, we're not saying nothing else. We don't talk about the South.
No, what I'm saying
is,
okay. if any school that placed in the categories where we say it could have went either way, if you are willing to share your score sheet,
yes,
please do so because we really like to look at it.
We
and
won't
evaluate
post
it.
them, but we want to see what's the deciding factor. Yes,
we really want to see that. So those of you who are following us, those of you who are watching, if you are willing to share your score sheets with us, we would greatly appreciate it. As she stated, we will not post them, but we really want to determine and really evaluate the score sheets to determine what is the deciding factor amongst these close calls and these ties that we have seen throughout this entire season.
All right, so we're going to move on to our small division co-ed, and then this is a division that went straight to, no, this one had a semifinals. So we have Choctaw. So we have
teams moved up.
Yeah. So we have 5 teams. We have Coral Springs Charter, Hernando from Brooksville, Sebring, Port St. Joe, and Choctaw from Fort Walton Beach. This was also a close one.
Very much so.
1 and 2.
I could believe it.
Yeah.
I could definitely.
Well, actually, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I could believe that.
And those were better scores.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so wait, hold on. Let me see.
You know what? And the kicker is.
All right, so I'm gonna talk about the other 2 first.
Here's the kicker. The order in which they went is basically the order in which they placed.
This is true. This is true.
Go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna start with one of the ones that were not in the top 3, which was Port St. Joe. that.
Go ahead. You got it.
Oh, there was no pun intended there. Sorry. Port St. Joe, I like the way they did their rhythm spelling shark. I don't remember exactly how it went, but it was different than probably your normal SHARKS, whatever. I don't feel like going into that. All right. Slide left and slide right. Oh, they spelled it, but they was like slide and win. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I got my notes so I can remember what's going on. Boy came out in a jersey and khakis like a fan, but I loved it. I do remember that. Like most boys, they're gonna wear a t-shirt and some sweats, or they're gonna have on the uniform with the bottoms. But he had on a jersey and khakis. It was cute to me. I probably wouldn't have done it because the khakis are limited motion, but it was cute. It was cute. So yeah, shout out to y'all for that thought process. He probably thought of that, but it was cute. Kudos. Sebring, good but blah. Yeah, that aligns with their score. They were just good, but it was like it was no interest in it. So your top three finishers in actually in the exact order
Just
that they
about.
competed. No, the top three they were in order in
Correct.
place.
It's the last two that flip flop.
Flip flop, yeah.
Literally.
So I didn't have much to put in for Choctaw and Hernando. I put that they were good, but it was nothing that stood out to me to say I like these specific things. But obviously they were good teams because they were in the top 3. And Coral Springs Charter, hometown team. I put that their dance was cute. I don't really remember it anymore because we're over a month away. But I liked it, so I wrote it, and then I put they did a great job. So you could go ahead and break down the placements.
So Coral Springs Charter had a 79.2 for third place. Hernando had a 79.4 for second place. And Choctaw had an 82, had an 80.2 for first place. So if you can, the differences between the numbers, all it was, something was a deciding factor. And like we said, we would love to see y'all score a sheet, the judges sheet, so that we can see what the difference is, because this was also a very close one.
Very.